Battlefield 5 has been out for quite a long time now, and in previous games we'd be getting stuck into rumours about the new Battlefield game or even watching some official teasers or trailers. Unfortunately, DICE have decided to push back the new game from the regular schedule, meaning we'll have to endure Battlefield 5 for even longer than usual. However, despite this extended time period, many players are still completely useless at the very basic Battlefield tasks. I usually drop onto Reddit once or twice a week just to see what's happening in the Battlefield 5 subreddit, and it's often filled with appalling displays of teammates and squadmates that don't help you. In this video I'll be showing you a few examples of terrible players that I've been unlucky enough to be teamed up with over the past few months. As you can see from this example in the background, I have a squadmate who has absolutely no clue how to revive. He might not even realise that support players can indeed revive squadmates. By far and away the biggest problem I have with teammates in Battlefield 5 is their complete lack of awareness and understanding when it comes to reviving, and I'm hoping that I've got some sympathy with you people watching the video. Sure, as you see here, there's a player who just doesn't seem to understand he might be a new player, but surely it's the job of DICE to try and tell new players that reviving is incredibly important. If you go back and play Battlefield 3 today, you will be revived and often stuck in a chain revive because you can just be revived over and over again. It's a bit of an odd situation really, especially as in Battlefield 5 you tend not to get revived a lot of the time, but it's interesting to see how the game has progressed, or in this case, how it hasn't. Not only do people refuse to revive, but even when they do, most will forget the basics. Drop smoke, check around for enemy players. Often you might need to just be a little bit more careful than the guy you see in the background jumping through the window and going for a Rambo revive. Talking of Rambo reviving, it is something you can do. A lot of people do enjoy playing medic and just going for those revives. However, you have to use smoke. It's the basics. This game is 18 months into its life. It's pretty obvious that that's something you need to be doing. So, of course, it's number one in this video, and a few of the examples in the background do show how often you will come across this. Moving on, I'm not about to hate on snipers, don't worry. Sniping is a massive part of Battlefield, and sitting back plinking enemies in the head at range is very satisfying, despite the headshot sound being nerfed, some would say, from Battlefield 1. Sometimes though, you'll see a teammate spawn in, go prone and start shooting, with no cover and not in a good position. Probably the wrong weapon and scope for the situation as well. It might just be me, but have you also noticed that these sort of players always try to climb to the highest part of the map? We saw it a lot in Battlefield 4 where DICE started putting ladders on the side of every building so you could get to the rooftop. You saw it a lot on maps like Shanghai and Dawnbreaker, players on top of the roof. It does lead to a lot of only in Battlefield moments, but it's not exactly the best thing if you're trying to play the objective. If you're trying to get better at sniping, a couple of tips. Watch good players such as Study play. He's very good, not only with his aiming, but his positioning, which is incredibly important. Find a rifle you're confident with and just keep practicing with the same one. In Battlefield 5, the bullet velocity is so quick, the sniper rifles are almost hit scan, so you can kind of use anything and be pretty decent with it, but using the same weapon obviously builds that muscle memory. Learn the maps and work out strong positions that give you a good line of sight onto objectives, and you don't always have to lie down on the ground exactly where you spawn. You are allowed to move around as a sniper and make use of things such as squad call-ins, smoke, and then any gadgets you have with you. As a player who enjoys vehicles, seeing them wasted by players is really annoying, and I feel like I'm talking about the same thing over and over again, like a broken record. The people that take vehicles and just sit at the side of the map and don't use them to cap objectives are really having a negative effect on your team. As a player, especially a new player, I think DICE could do more to explain to people how you use vehicles, how they can be used as a squad implement, how they can be used to cap objectives on modes such as Rush and Breakthrough and even Conquest, where you will find a lot of people camping at the edge of the map even when there are loads of flags for them to sit on. There's a great example in the background here of why you should never get out of your vehicle as well. This enemy player in the AA tank on the bridge on Twisted Steel. I throw some dynamite at him, sure he's in a bit of trouble, maybe he would die, but he's better off dying in his vehicle than bailing out with the long animation and potentially losing it. In older Battlefield games, jumping out to kill an enemy was something you could do, it was viable. Because of the instant animation getting out and then getting back in, it was something you could do, but in Battlefield 5, definitely don't do that. Getting out of your vehicle is a death sentence. Something that annoys me a lot, and again it was in a previous video I did about a year ago looking at mistakes players make, being a terrible squad leader. Battlefield 5 gives you the opportunity to be a great squad leader. You have more utility and more scope to have an impact on your team winning the game. Good squad leaders, and there'll be many of you watching this video, always mark objectives. They always make sure they are pushing their squad in the right place. They're dropping the right things. They're not just saving up for a V1. They're dropping the smokes, the artillery, the squad call-ins, and even the vehicles, which are very strong on some maps. You know, they're doing more than just saving up for a V1 or just wasting all of the points altogether. You do find a lot of players in this game as well just not doing anything in squads, sitting there on their own. They're not joining up with squads. They're not trying to help win the game, and that is so annoying because that's what Battlefield's all about. It's about winning the game, pushing as a team, trying to get the best score, trying to get the most points and just win the game for your team. I'm going to finish off this video just by talking about something I mentioned and alluded to earlier in the video, and wondering if you guys think it's also a good idea. The campaign in Battlefield, the single player, is something that a lot of people enjoy, but I feel as if it's almost been dumbed down and become more of a cinematic experience as opposed to trying to kind of give you an introduction to the multiplayer. I was hoping that in this Battlefield game we were going to see more things where maybe you'd spawn in a vehicle, it would teach you the controls, and then it would kind of give you a flavour of what the multiplayer is about, showing you what you should be doing, but we didn't really seem to see that. Hopefully in the next Battlefield game, DICE could maybe look at turning the single player into almost an elaborate tutorial, obviously with some good stories in there as well, because people want to play the single player. It's always quite fun in Battlefield, although not the best, but usually quite good. Maybe it's something they could do. I'm not certain if it's something that will take their fancy. It takes a bit more work and a bit of planning, but I really think it could be something special. In addition to that, we do need a proper test range. We do have one in the game, but it's not really as good as in BF4, and community games have only just started getting off the ground, so that's another missed opportunity. Maybe some of the things I listed in this video resonate with you a bit. If they do, you can mention it down below. If there's anything I missed as well, make sure you leave a comment. Leave a like if you enjoyed, a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next video.